evening. The Constitutional Court has ruled in favor of the Police Federation in their lawsuit against the government for outstanding monies dating back to 2008. The government has been given until March 31, 2023 to implement a proper software system to efficiently capture and calculate overtime hours for members of the Jamaica Constabulary Force, JCF. Now, today's Supreme Court decision did not impose any requirement on the government to pay any money to members of the JCF except for legal costs. The Jamaica Police Federation had taken the government to court over its failure to implement a proper system and to pay cops for working in excess of the agreed 40-hour work week. Here is Chairman of the Police Federation, Corporal Rohan James, with an update on today's court ruling.
The ruling today is a matter that we brought against the government, our employer, the Commissioner of Police and the Ministry of Finance regarding overtime payment. In light of the judgment today and the orders issued by the court, we intend to pursue the issue.
Corporal James further explained what today's ruling means for the police officers in moving forward.
Damages before the appeal court, and we make no bones about it because we believe that there is in fact merit in our case that was placed before the court, and since it is that the court has acknowledged that the government has breached its heads of agreement that it signs with the Police Federation and the rank and file membership, it therefore means that it is property that is being deprived of. And we do intend to pursue that vigorously in the Court of Appeal.
In other news tonight, one of St. James's most notorious gunmen, O'Dane Christopher, was fatally shot during a confrontation with the police yesterday. Reports coming into our news center are that a targeted operation conducted by the Counter-Terrorism and Organized Crime Branch, CTOC, led the police to intercept a motor vehicle along the north-south highway in the vicinity of the Linstead exit. When signaled by the police to stop, two men alighted from the vehicle and opened fire at the police team. The gunfire was returned and two men were fatally shot. The other shooter is yet to be identified. One Intratec Tech-9 submachine gun and one 9mm pistol were seized. Investigators are reporting that Christopher is known to be a high-ranking member of the Bushead gang and was charged with murder and reporting in St. James on condition of his bail. The Independent Commission of Investigations, Indicom, was notified and the scene was processed. In a Mello TV update, more information has come to light about the man the St. James Police have named as the division's most wanted criminal. Nikilo Kilo Lewis was arrested by the police during an intelligence-driven operation on the Reading May Road on May 24, 2022. He is now facing gun-related charges in connection with multiple investigations. The 24-year-old, who hails from Grange Pen, Lilliput, St. James, is currently wanted for the murder of Horatio Shakes, committed in Bugs Bunny, Lilliput, St. James on August 18, 2020. Additionally, he is wanted for the murder of Chevine Stevens and the wounding with intent of three others that took place January 4, 2022 at Ocean Heights, Lilliput, in the parish. The St. James Police have also named Lewis as a person of interest in connection with the murder of a citizen of the Dominican Republic, Marie Isabel Valdez, that took place on September 10, 2020, as she worked at a bar in Lilliput. The murder of Lindell Wilson, committed on September 25, 2021 at Ocean Heights, Lilliput. A case of robbery with aggravation that was committed on September 25, 2021 at Ocean Heights at Lilliput in St. James. Lewis was featured recently on the JCF's Wanted Wednesday social media campaign. Investigations into these cases are ongoing and updates will be provided to the public at an appropriate time. The constabulary will continue to pursue wanted persons who have been behind the violence in several of Jamaica's communities. The public is being reminded that if they believe they have any information that can assist the police in any investigation, they can call Crime Stop at 311 or the National Intelligence Bureau, NIB, at 811. Still in the news tonight, a team of officers assigned to the St. Andrew South Police Division seized a .38 revolver containing 6.38 rounds of ammunition during an operation on Pretoria Road, Kingston 13 yesterday. Reports coming into our news center from the Hunts Bay Police are that at approximately 7:10 p.m., law enforcement officers were in the area when a premises was searched and the illegal firearm was found in a sock inside the perimeter wall. No arrest was made. Investigations are ongoing. Continuing with the news, the National Works Agency, NWA, is advising the public that the intersections of Tower Street and Duke Street and Tower Street and Hanover Street in downtown Kingston will be closed to vehicular traffic on the weekend. The road closures are expected to commence at 6 a.m. tomorrow and will end at noon on Monday, June 6, 2022. Now, this is in order to facilitate the construction of 4 V-drains. Continuing with Mello TV News, the Jamaican government signed a Memorandum of Understanding, MOU, today with deposit-taking institutions for the National Identification Systems pilot of identity verification and authentication services. Prime Minister Andrew Holness, in his remarks, pointed out the challenges of identification in Jamaica and its current effectiveness when linked to banking transactions.
Bankers and the banking system, by its very nature, not just to mention by law, must establish a record of transaction. And the record of transaction, it's not just a mere ledger that you keep and the accounting standards and systems that you follow, but it is also a ledger of trust, because each transaction is based on trust. And the first element of trust in a transaction is that you know who you're transacting with. Now, the challenge with the identification in Jamaica is that you have several that could pass as identification, but it doesn't satisfy the banking standard or several other entities' standard, and therefore the banks sometimes have to go behind the identification that is presented, because there is no identification system in Jamaica that is absolutely foolproof, except maybe for our...
Mr. Holness says the NIDS system is designed to bring about a greater level of trust where more transactions can take place.
There are some people in the country who are influential, who are opinion leaders, but who are wedded to an outdated way of thinking. It was their way of thinking that created the problems in the first place, and we can't rely or allow their ways of thinking to color and shut our options for the future. And my job has been to challenge them and to bring a different perspective to the fore and to be strong in pushing through these perspectives to ensure that Jamaica becomes an efficient place where the next generation of Jamaicans can feel very proud of their country and the systems that are in place, instead of feeling very disenchanted with what is happening here. But the nature of our society, is that, our finance and our business is always very personal, and that personal touch is required. But NIDS, the National Identification System, is designed to increase the level of trust so that more transactions can take place. And you know when an economy is booming, when it is growing, you can just measure transactions, just the number of transactions that are taking place. And the banks will know, because they will see not just more accounts being opened, because you have a lot of accounts, but you will see the accounts being used. And that is the intention. So,
Minister without portfolio in the office of the Prime Minister, Floyd Green, in his remarks announced that more enrollment centers will be set up in every parish.
The National Identification System, your card, will be free. We will be moving to set up enrollment centers in every single parish. We're partnering with the post office to utilize their build-out. And we've already identified 24 post offices that we will be utilizing, modernizing, so that citizens can have easy access. We're taking it a step further because we appreciate that some of the challenges start even before they get their ID, because we do still have citizens who do not have birth certificates. So we announced last week, under the direction of the Prime Minister, a new project called Operation Birthright, where in the 60th year we're putting $50 million to ensure that at least 11,000 Jamaicans who are unable to afford their birth certificate get it free of cost. So the government is taking all reasonable steps to ensure that our people will have access to this system. Now that the government is moving in this direction, we need the banks to move with us. And this MOU is just the first step, because what we want to do is when we issue the very first card, the person can ideally have a simplified process to open a bank account almost instantaneously.
Benjamin Roseth, Senior Specialist in Modernization of the State at the Inter-American Development Bank, explained that the MOU signed today will pave the way for the NIDS card to be the primary document used to open a bank account.
A secure, unique, and national ID is a key for digital transformation. And I would show you that from Estonia to Uruguay, there is no successful case of digital transformation without this unique, secure, and national ID. The MOU that's going to be signed here today will pave the way for the NIDS card to be the primary document used to open a bank account. And you know, I opened a bank account in one of your institutions a few months ago, so I saw with my own eyes all the papers and all the requirements that are necessary to open that account. And when I was there, I asked myself, now, how many people are out there that would like to have a bank account, that would benefit from having a bank account, but don't have one? They don't have one because they can't produce all of these documents. Maybe they don't have a passport, a driver's license, electoral ID card, or what have you. Today marks a huge step forward in making the NIDS useful. And that's why, from the bottom of my heart and on behalf of the IDB, I want to thank all of you representing the banks of Jamaica for taking leadership, for making this huge step forward to making the NIDS useful. So congratulations to the team, to the government of Jamaica, and all the financial institutions represented here today.
Septimus Bob Blake, elected president of the Jamaica Bankers Association, pointed out the importance and value of having this new identification card.
It takes too much time for citizens to establish identity if we consider the need to visit a JP or to provide references, and in some cases, multiple pieces of documentation. There's also an associated financial cost. The taxi fare, the bus fare, or gas money from multiple trips and time taken off from productive work. The ability to authenticate on demand without physical presence also lays a foundation for greater speed and efficiency in the delivery of services provided by the financial sector and the government of Jamaica. The time and money saved will have a positive impact on productivity and translates to growth. So digital identification lowers the barriers to participation in the financial system, and participation is another key area to be unlocked to facilitate growth. Many IDs are essential qualification for other things. So the driver's license qualifies us to drive. The passport enables us to travel. Our voter's ID allows us to vote. The beauty of a digital ID available to all citizens, all Jamaican citizens, even newborns, just on the basis of you being a citizen, is the most far-reaching construct for participation and inclusion. In terms of protection, one of the primary fears associated with the national digital ID is around data breaches of confidential information. This is a rational fear. And it will augur well to ensure institutions put the appropriate mechanism in place to ensure that customer data is kept secure.
And those are the stories making news. I am Shellyan Hill. Do stay safe and pleasant viewing. Thanks for watching.